Stage 6 of the 2017 OVO Energy Tour of Britain would take the riders 186 kilometres from the home of horse racing in Newmarket to the beautiful Suffolk coastal town of Aldeburgh. And after yesterday's time trial stage, Lars Bohm of Team Lotto Jumbo took an 8-second advantage over his teammate Victor Campenaerts into the stage with Vasil Kirienka in third. As soon as the flag dropped, the attacks came thick and fast, as many of the contenders for this year's OVO Energy Tour of Britain tried to get away. In the end, it was Hayden McCormack of One Pro Cycling with Connor Swift of Madison Genesis and James Shaw of Lotto Soudal that managed to get away. They were joined by Jacob Hennessy of Great Britain, Regan Goff of On Post Chain Reaction and Enrico Barbine of Bardiani CSF. Into the first Aldeburgh sprint of the day, and it was Hayden McCormack, the highest placed rider on the general classification at 1:14 going into the stage, that took a 3-second bonus to close the gap on Lars Bohm. Into the second sprint, it, however, wasn't to be for McCormack, as Connor Swift took the sprint ahead of Harry Tanfield of Bike Channel Canyon. But for Hayden McCormack, he managed to pick up one more second to close the gap down yet again. The breakaway were really not being allowed much lead, with both McCormack and Shaw only 1:14 and 1:30 down respectively. As they came towards the final Aldeburgh sprint of the day, it was Jacob Hennessy of the Great Britain cycling team that took the victory ahead of McCormack and Tanfield. But the breakaway group were now trying to stay clear of the race. Onto the Skoda King of the Mountains, the only climb of the day, the Category 3 climb out of Snape. It was James Shaw of Lotto Soudal that took maximum points, but it wasn't any threat to the overnight leader, Jacob Scott. Team Sky came to the front. Mikhail Kwiatkowski, Geraint Thomas, Tergegen Hart and Vasily Kirienka tried to split the race in the final 10 kilometres as the race hit some open farmland. It was touch and go for much of the run-in towards the finish. Could the breakaway deny the sprinters into Aldeburgh? Harry Tanfield, after puncturing earlier on, lost some spokes in his front wheel. Jacob Hennessy attacked for On Post Chain Reaction. He was countered by James Shaw inside 4 kilometres to go. That all-important combativity prize, something that the riders want to target. In towards Aldeburgh, there was a left-hand turn, a slight rise before a descent and a tight 90-degree bend before the finish. Quick Step Floors were trying to bring Fernando Gaviria through, and Max Rackesi was battling with Nicolas Mas. Gaviria lost the wheel of his teammate. Philippe Gilbert came through to the front with Denek Stibar on the wheel. Orica Scott's trying to set up a hat-trick of victories for Caleb Ewan. And Dylan Groenewegen from Lotto Jumbo trying to get into the mix and prevent Edvald Bosenhagen, the real danger man, from taking the bonus seconds on the line. The slight rise through 1 kilometre to go. Philippe Gilbert was digging deep on the front, and he would hand over to Denek Stibar as the road sloped down to the final corner. Stibar with Rackesi, Miesgets, Ewan and Gaviria on the wheel, as Mark Renshaw came into picture for Dimension Data to bring Edvald Bosenhagen up towards the front. It would be a narrow finishing straight in Aldeburgh. Stibar, however, cut the corner fairly tight and had to unclip his foot to keep himself up. That took out the lead-out man for Caleb Ewan. Rackesi led out, but for the pocket rocket from Australia, he went early and managing to gap Fernando Gaviria of Quick Step Floors. Caleb Ewan, that familiar aerodynamic sprinting style with his back wheel sliding around underneath him. It would be his 3rd victory of this year's OVO Energy Tour of Britain. Congratulations all around for Caleb Ewan from the teammates. A perfectly executed sprint once again for the Australian team. And through that final corner, Stibar just pushed Luca Mies gets wide, but Caleb Ewan very, very vigilant at the front, went early in the sprint. And, after gapping Gaviria, there was no way back for the rest of the riders. Dylan Groenewegen of Lotto Jumbo swept up the one bonus second on the line. Caleb Ewan, 3-stage victories for the Orica Scotsman. Still more opportunities to come in this year's race. He took the stage ahead of Gaviria, Groenewegen, Alexander Kristoff getting himself up there in 4th. Great results for Pascalon, Jones, Wouters, Bosenhagen in 8th, Patrick Bevan in 9th, and Kwiatkowski in 10th. No change at the top of the general classification. Lars Bohm, great job done today by Lotto Jumbo. He still leads by 8 seconds from Victor Campenaerts, with Vasil Kirienka in 3rd.